What's up, guys? This is a post-trials report conversation. I have Musician526 here with me. He's a friend of mine that I like to play with. Musician526, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, guys? It's Musician526. If you want to check out some videos and stuff of my gameplay, you can check it out on Instagram at Musician526Gaming, or you can add me and we can game together sometime. I'm a big Trials fan. I try to go flawless at least once a week. This week I went twice, and it's been a good week so far.
Yeah, Musician526 is a good friend of mine. He's a very avid PvP player in pretty much every first-person shooter game out there. We're talking about Destiny today. We're talking about Trials specifically. This week's Trials map was Frontier. What was going through your head whenever you first heard that was the Trials map?
Well, it was actually really funny because a lot of people don't realize this, but I had gotten on DestinyTrialsReport.com, and it said the map was Bastion for like an hour before Trials got released, and so I made a post on Instagram saying that the map was Bastion, and so I loaded up my first map, my first match, and I saw that it was Frontier. I was kind of surprised, not gonna lie, because I was awaiting Bastion, getting my sniper ready, and I was really thrilled because Bastion would have been terrible, and Frontier is one of my favorite maps because I knew that Mida multi-tool and amongst other scout rifles and snipers were really gonna be really tearing people apart this week.
Oh yeah, gosh, Lee, I don't even remember Bastion. You said that, and it sounded familiar. It took me a while to actually remember which map that was. I don't think I've played on that map in about 6 months or so.
Yeah, the only time I've played on that map was during the vehicle battles.
Call to Arms, I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, your combined arms.
Combined Arms, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So on Frontier this week, we ran some Trials matches together. I'm sure you ran some by yourself and with some of your friends. Was there a particular play style that you found sort of reigned king over this map this weekend?
Well, I personally I've got a play style that's it's pretty unique to myself because I use the gunslinger with double throwing knives pretty religiously at this point. But I will say there was one play style that we played against, and we went flawless this run, but we ended up using our mercy, and we got beat 5-0 by a team of 3 bubble titans, and that was honestly kind of sickening what they did. They sat back in their spawn and just absolutely smoked us because they charged their supers up, and at that point their supers were all 3 bubbles, and they would just sit on the bridge and they'd pop one bubble and then they'd get orbs and then they'd pop another one and they'd get orbs, and they're just melting us. And so that was probably the most overpowered strategy I saw this weekend.
That's pretty unique strategy. I don't think I've ever gone up against 3 bubble titans.
It was pretty gnarly, man, I'm not gonna lie.
What was your particular loadout this weekend that you were rocking?
My loadout was a gunslinger with improved accuracy on my golden gun, a trip mine grenade, double throwing knives, gunslinger's trance, and max agility with medium recovery and no armor. And then for weapons, I used Mida multi-tool, 1,000-yard stare, Herod Lulum's Frenzy, I think that's what it's called, the raid rocket launcher whenever I didn't need it, and truth whenever we played some sweaty teams. And then for my armor, whenever I could, if my 2 teammates were rocking fast res, I wore the radiant dance machines. However, there were times when I had to take those off and wear fast res for the good of the team, because I find it very, very difficult to go flawless unless you have a full team fast res.
Yeah, that full team fast res is just so nice if 2 people are rocking either Crest of Alpha Lupi on Hunter or Titan, or the Light Beyond Nemesis helmet on the Warlock. If you just have 2 people on your team, the entire team has fast res, and that can change a game because you can just sprint through your dead teammate's orb, holding X if you're on Xbox or square if you're on PlayStation, and just sprint right through them and revive them on your way through. My loadout was, I made a Warlock. I play slightly more passively unless I'm the flanker on the team. This week I tried sniping, of course, because Frontier is just a giant open map. with tons of sight lines. So I was rocking my Sunsinger Warlock with self-res, of course. I had the Firebolt grenades with the extended burn on them. And then I always like to rock max agility and max recovery, or max armor and max recovery, just depending on my opponents that I'm going up against. I like the agility just to be able to get places quick, and then I like the armor because you can survive trip mines, you can survive shoulder charges. There's just a lot of things that can save your life in a clutch situation. But my weapons loadout was typically a pulse rifle. I like my Fulcrum that I got from Future War Cult, has maxed out stability on it. It's kind of my baby. Of course, the 1,000 yard stare that everybody and their mom is using by now. And then I have my Brudamart stand, the Iron Banner machine gun. I have max stability on that thing with a pretty decent range. I just like max stability weapons. I like being able to aim at somebody's head and shoot and it hit them because that's how you get kills. What do you think about heavy rounds on this map?
Heavy rounds were really, really frustrating for me actually because if on this map, if you didn't have fire bolts, then or arc bolts, then you were kind of in trouble on heavy rounds. I found fire bolts really reigned supreme on the, I guess it was the bottom heavy is what I would call it. On bottom heavy, there's that rock right by the heavy ammo crate, and warlocks or blade dancers would go up and sit on the rock and just launch a firebolt over the other side, and those wrecked me so many times. If I got the shoot, I'm not sure which spawn it is necessarily, but it's the spawn where if you go right, you'll go towards the top heavy ammo crate. I would sit in the special room right there and snipe up towards the crate, because in order to get the heavy ammo, they have to pop out where you can see them. And I would sit there with my 1,000 yard trained on them. And if I could get one orb, I would generally sit there and either let the guy pick up the heavy ammo who followed the guy who got sniped, or if he tried to res, I would just res snipe and usually get both of them. So that was my strategy. I went flawless on my Warlock this week, and like I said, Firebolts really just tore people up on heavy rounds, so that's what I used most of the time if I had it accessible to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you had your choice, would you say rocket launcher, machine gun, or sword?
Personally, I'm really, really big on truth in a super competitive round. I think it's really powerful weapon, and what I would do a lot of times if I ended up in a 1-on-3 on heavy round, I would take the troll approach and jump up on top of the train tracks. I would try to pick off one guy with truth from range because of the tracking just being ridiculous. And once I got that orb, I would kind of watch the orb with my truth and let him go for the res. And right when they were about to get it, pop him with another shot. So I ended up clutching a few rounds actually with truth, just using that strategy.
That's exactly how it was in year one. Rocket launchers were just the way to go because you don't have to aim, you just have to point and shoot. If you have tracking, if you have a big blast radius, if you have proximity detonation, which Truth has all of those and does them very well, it's hard to not get a kill unless you have a very skilled Titan or Hunter who can shade step, or Titan skate out of the rockets. It's just hard to miss. Plus, you can shoot people coming around corners without even having to see them. But I personally prefer machine guns on this map, just because of the big wide open areas. If you did find somebody who was using a tracking rocket launcher from far enough away, if you timed your jump correctly, you could jump out of it and survive it. And then they would typically be up above you. If they're up above you, they're just falling. And if they're falling, they can't change their trajectory. So you can just lay into them with that machine gun and they will drop before they even hit the ground. It's just an excellent strategy that I found to use. It works better if you're flanking. If they know where you are, they're typically going to shoot a rocket and kill you. But if you have your other teammates run around back towards your spawn or try and meet them in the middle, and you run around the edge of the map with a machine gun, you can easily find people who have no clue that you're there and just pick them off real quick. Plus you have more ammo, so you have a little bit more leeway to miss shots. You just recently got the bolt caster, didn't you?
Yeah, I did get the bolt caster actually.
Did you get a chance to use it at all?
Yeah, actually, we were winning one match 3-0, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bother with truth. I'm gonna pull out my bolt caster and just use it for fun. So I pulled out my bolt caster for heavy round, and we ended up getting the bottom heavy, and it was actually a 3-on-2 because I think one of the opponent team players DC'd, and so I pulled out my bolt caster and I slashed once and killed one of the guys, and then the other guy came up to get the res, and I actually used the sword throw perk on bolt caster to take out the other guy. So that was pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, the Volcaster is so much fun to use. It's so satisfying just to throw that beam of energy and get that kill. I've gotten the privilege of using Boltcaster a little bit more in 6v6s, and I love it because if you know where people are coming from, you can shoot it as they're coming around the corner. They'll have no idea that that shot's coming in, and it'll just decimate them. Plus, on other Trials maps that I found, particularly not on this one, because it's so wide open, but in a little bit smaller maps that are more contained, you can really use that Boltcaster to block and be a tank for your team. While everybody just wastes heavy ammo on you, sure, you might die after they unload enough of it, but by that team, hopefully your team can come around and just completely sweep them with their heavy ammo. It was a little bit harder to do that on this map also because the heavy ammo on Frontier was 50-50. It's not like I have my heavy and you have your heavy. It's, do I want to go to left heavy or to right heavy whenever I spawn? And that made a really interesting mechanic for this because you had no idea where the opponent team was going. It was just do we want to send all three to one side? Do we want to send one to one side and two to the other? Or do we want to just flank around behind them and try and catch them off guard? It opened up some really cool strategies during heavy ammo.
Yeah, last night it was interesting because me and Whalester, and we had a random LFG player that we were playing with. We were running a strategy on heavy rounds where Whalester and I we would run to one side of the heavy, and our third teammate would use his Titan, and he would jump up on top of the train tracks and just scout which team was going where. So if they were all going left, we would know that we had all the time in the world to get our heavy, or if they were going right, we would know to kill them off before we had to pick it up. And it actually ended up working pretty well for us, I feel like.
Yeah, just having that scout up there on the very top of that bridge with just complete sight of the entire map. You can see exactly where they are. You can let your other teammates know. Communication is such a big part of Trials, and definitely doing heavy round, so you can know where they're coming and where they're going, and if they're going to get it, or if you're safe to get it or not. Did you ever let the time run out and get to play the capture point on this map?
Yeah, actually, we got to a few times. It wasn't like a once a match type of thing necessarily, but I would say once every 2 or 3 matches we would have a capture zone situation, and it always ended up being interesting because it was where the capture zone was in really low ground down in the water, and so it was really vulnerable to everybody else coming from anywhere in the map.
It was right on B point during, if it was a control map, it was right on B point, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I believe it was right there, and it made it really interesting just because I believe on Trials, the capture points, the more people you have inside of them, the faster they capture. And so it was interesting because at one point it was me and a friend or a teammate in the capture point, and it was a 2-on-3. And we were sitting there, and somebody yelled out, "Oh no, all the enemies are coming right now!" And we were sitting in the capture point, and they ended up smoking my teammate. And right in the nick of time, I capped it, and I died, and it said Alpha Team wins, and I was like, dang it, I think they killed me. And then I realized that we were on Alpha Team. We had gotten it just in the nick of time, and I think we ended up
Yeah.
winning that match. It was a close one, but I think we won it.
Yeah, I think I was that teammate that got smoked.
Oh, was that? Yeah, it's possible, man. I don't remember, but it was pretty close there.
Yeah, capture points are always such an interesting part in Trials matches. You can either sit back and try and snipe them. I remember back whenever it was on Rusted Lands, the best thing to do was just to wait until they came to it, or Widow's Court even. Just wait until they came to it because it was so open, and then you can just kill them once they came to the capture point.
Exactly. I actually won a lot of matches on Widow's Court in 1-on-3 capture points because I'd let them all get out there, and I would sit in the broken castle, and I'd just get out there and just start smoking them with my sniper. It worked really well, and it disoriented them well as well. So It was a interesting strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Also, if you are a defender titan, man, that capture point is your best friend. Get some armor of light ready. Just go pop a bubble on that, sit back, eat some popcorn, wait for that timer to run out, and you've got that round one. That is an excellent strategy if you're a titan, but you have to make sure that the other team doesn't have supers because a golden gun will pop it, a nova bum will pop it, hammers will pop it. You got to watch out for what the other team has. So looking forward, is there anything that you would change about your trials run this week? Something that you thought about, man, I really could have done that better, or I can improve this on for next week?
Um, I'm trying to think honestly. I'm pretty pleased with how my game was this weekend because I got a lot of res kills, and that's something that I pride myself on. I like to watch orbs after I pop them, and either kill the guy who's going for the res or let him get the res and then increase that timer and just farm kills off of him. And so that was something I was really proud of. Throwing knives and trip mines, I had some incredibly clutch moments that were really awesome. Honestly, if there was anything that I felt like really I could have improved on at all this week, it would either be my play with my golden gun. I got sniped a few times while I was golden gunning. I had a chance to clutch a couple rounds, and I ended up getting out in the open when I should have. But generally, those snipers that killed me were sweaty tryhards who didn't miss any shots that match. So I didn't feel too bad about that. Heavy round, I found myself sitting back too much every now and then, to where if I had pushed up, I probably could have clutched a couple more rounds. But overall, I was pretty pleased with how I played, and I don't think I would have changed a whole lot about it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this was a great round of trials for me at least. Frontier was just an excellent map to where it could really adapt to any playstyle. Like snipers did reign supreme, but I did an alt run on my Titan and I just pulled out a shotgun with a defender and no backup plans for fun. And I had a great time just running through all the trenches and all the low points of this map, trying to run around, get a different angle on the team, make sure they could never find me, and just opened up a lot of really cool strategies. But I would definitely say I got to work on my snipes. I've been getting better, but sometimes just setting your reticle right at that head level before you step out of cover is the key. And sometimes I just get a little bit too excited and step out of cover and find out, oh, I need to set my reticle, and by that time it's already too late because the other sniper will cap you, and there's not much you can do about that, but think about it faster next time and do better. What map would you like to see next weekend if you could choose?
If I could choose the map for next weekend, I want to see Burning Shrine come back really bad. It's one of my favorite maps to play on, and it was the original Trials map and everything. And I don't know, there's so many good competitive battles that happen on Burning Shrine. It opens up room for multiple different weapon styles. You can use hand cannons to excess. You can use scout rifles, pulse rifles, shotguns, snipers. You can use absolutely anything. For me personally, there's a lot of good walls where I can put trip mines and ruin people's day. And so it's one of my favorite maps, honestly. And if not that one, I would love to see, I believe it's Pantheon. It's a really big map. It's got two main sniper alleys. And I wouldn't say next week. I feel like this next week needs to be a more close quarters map like Burning Shrine. But maybe in the coming weeks, I'd like to see Pantheon come back. Just maybe not quite so quick because we've had some really long range maps in the last few weeks.
I would agree. I would say Pantheon would be the map that I would like to see. I remember the first time it came around, I hated Pantheon. I did not understand it. I didn't know how to play it. But by the end of the trials that weekend, man, I learned that map really well. So whenever I went into Control or whenever Rift came around, I could play Pantheon a lot better. And ever since I've been playing those game types, I've learned it even better. So I'd love to see it come around for trials again. And I want to try out some new angles that I found and see if I can get a power position or catch the other team off guard. Thanks for listening. I guess that's about it for trials. Hopefully you can take what we have to say and learn a little bit from it. That's kind of why I'm trying to have these conversations, just so that we can talk about some good competitive PvP gameplay and help everybody get a little bit better. I really enjoyed trials this weekend. I feel like I stepped up my game, and I can only hope to get better. So I'm going to keep practicing, and I'll see y'all next week. Musician, do you have anything you want to say before you head out?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man. It's been a really good week of trials thus far, and I continue to improve, and it feels really good to see that improvement coming. It's just it's a lot of fun, and that's about all I have to say.
Yeah. Well, best of luck for next week. We'll see what the map is, and then have some fun, and then I'll see y'all again.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, guys.